Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you may be. It's another time for another exciting day of science here, live from the Brenna Bunker in the soon-to-be non-quarantine Southeast United States. It's 7th grade science at ACE Academy. Today we're talking about clouds again. Yesterday we talked about how clouds actually form. Today we're talking about the types of clouds. It's going to be kind of brief for the most part, just because, frankly, you can read this just as well as I can. So I'll give you plenty of time to look this over, and I can actually give you a link in the video to the page that I copied most of the stuff from. Because again, I've always said, hey, don't copy and paste when you should be creating it yourself. But guess what? When you're just trying to convey information, such as a definition, remember definitions are okay to copy and paste because it's a definition. It'll be the same whether you wrote it or copied and pasted it. But other than definitions, please do not copy and paste answers, because those of you that are doing that on your questions, your do now questions, guess what? I'm grading those things. You're getting them wrong. Please stop. Answer the questions based on the information from the videos, which means if you don't watch the video, you have a hard time answering the questions correctly. Please follow some instructions. Watch the video, answer the questions from the video. Don't put what the internet says. Because when 10 people put the same thing, it's like, I know what you're doing. It's wrong these days. Anyway, so yesterday we talked about how a rising parcel layer that contains water vapor has to condense out to form a cloud. Today we're going to go look at the types of clouds and what they mean for weather. So clouds are categorized by two factors: the altitude above the ground they are, and their form. When we say form, it's kind of what it looks like. What it looks like. So there are four types of cloud formations: cirroform, cumuloform, stratoform, and nimbusform. The Latin word cirro means curl of hair. Composed of ice crystals, the cirroform clouds are whitish and hair-like, and they are wispy, high clouds that first appear in advance of a low-pressure area, such as a mid-latitude storm system or a tropical system, such as a hurricane. Not all the time, but a lot of times, you get, you see cirrus clouds, and then a front comes through later. It might not even be that stormy, but they are kind of the herald of things to come. Cumuloform, generally detached clouds, attached meaning not put together. They look like white fluffy cotton balls. They show vertical motion of thermal uplift or air taking place in the atmosphere. They're usually dense in appearance with sharp outlines. The base of the cumulus clouds are generally flat and occur at altitude where the moisture and rising air condenses. That whole parcel thing going up, flat on the bottom, because that's the altitude at which the temperatures dropped enough that water condenses out of the, from vapor back into liquid. Stratoform, from the Latin word for layer, these clouds are usually broad and fairly widespread, appearing like a blanket, result from non-convective rising air, and they tend to occur along to the north of warm fronts. The edges of stratoform clouds are diffuse. Nimboform. So now the guy named Howard also designated a special rainy cloud category when combined with three forms: cumulo, cirro, strato. He called this cloud nimbus, the Latin word for rain. The vast majority of precipitation occurs from nimboform clouds, and thereby these clouds have the greatest vertical height. So again, you have the cirro, strato, cumulo are the three basic forms, and then you have a nimbo version of almost every one of those, which is the rain-producing version of that cloud. So now we have 10 types of clouds. We have high-level clouds: cirrus, cirrocumulus, cirrostratus are high levels. They are typically thin and white in appearance, but compare a magnificent array of colors when the sun's low on the horizon. So cirrus by itself, there's a nice picture. Attached clouds that form a white delicate filaments. I'm actually not going to sit here and read these. So there's cirrus clouds, really wispy, just barely there. They don't block the sun at all. You're not going to see them. Cirrocumulus, little thicker than cirrus clouds, and again, cumulus, meaning kind of puffy and actually having definitive shape and size to them. But these are still way up higher. But again, look how much of the sky is covered with these. Not much. These are starting to cover a little more of the sky. And then if you get to cirrostratus, where this is incredibly thin layer, but yet it still is covering good sized chunk of the sky there. So stratus, again, stratus is layers. Cirrus meaning high, way high up there. So it's a really high wispy layer that is almost completely covering the entire sky. And then, then we come down to the mid-level clouds. Mid-level clouds, alto. So as it says, Latin and alto means high, yet alto are the mid-level clouds. Again, one of these wonderful things where science kind of went, we really don't care what it means, but we want to use that word because it sounds cool. Or whatever it was when these guys decided to call it this. But if you think about it from music, the alto, then you got the baritones, the next one down, because you have alto. Oh no, wait, no, tenor would be down. Tenor, alto, soprano, saxophones. I was a marching band geek for a little while. And then, so it's soprano sax, that's what Kenny G plays. Then the alto sax, the tenor sax, the baritone sax, and then the bass sax. Bass, baritone, tenor, alto, soprano. 5 different saxophones. Kind of neat, but totally off topic and off base. Anyway, so alto is higher. So this literally should be like tenor stratus and tenor cumulus, but that doesn't nearly sound as cool as alto stratus and alto cumulus. Anyway, but these are mid-level clouds, not high ones. So alto cumulus, again, cumulus being white puffy, alto meaning mid-level, but again, it's almost a sheet. It's not, it's a fairly structured, covering. Alto stratus. When you have alto stratus, it is a complete covering because so alto cumulus, you still got some sky through here and there. It's gray over here, but you get white through here. You're still getting some light from the sun. Alto stratus, the sun, there it is, looks like a star at night, right? But for the rest of it, it is a definitive layer that is, pretty much blots out the sun if on occasion has, a hole or two in it. So sometimes virga are seen hanging from alto stratus, and at times it may even reach the ground, causing light partitions. Virga is rain actually falling from the cloud that you can see from a distance. If you've ever seen thunderstorms coming across, I just ask questions when I can just go see. Virga. Let's see if we can't find a real quick picture because sure, show you a picture. Yeah, see right there. There's a good one. See that rain coming down? And yet it doesn't actually reach the ground underneath here. So, so by the time it touches, it comes down. There's another one. Definitely, there's one. Yeah. So, but there's air underneath it is so dry that it actually re-evaporates into the clouds. So that's what virga is. Virga is rain coming down from the clouds, but it actually ends up evaporating before it hits the ground. So this thing, it says at times may even reach the ground and cause it, which then classifies it as precipitation. So then you have nimbo stratus. Nimbo meaning the rain version of these clouds. So the only thing you don't have nimbo of is cirrus. There's no nimbo form of cirrus. Cirrostratus, cirrocumulus, and cirrus itself. There's no nimbo form, but then you get down here to the mid-levels, and then you have nimbostratus. Nimbostratus, so basically you take alto stratus, which you can still see the sun through, and on occasion you get a little bit of, almost rain, and then it turns into nimbostratus when you actually thickens up enough that you get rain that reaches the ground or snow, and you can't see the sun at all. It still is a mid-level cloud, but once it does start raining, it can drop down in level into the lower levels, but it still is considered nimbostratus at that point. Then you get your low-level clouds: cumulus, stratocumulus, stratus, cumulonimbus. So cumulus clouds, the base, beginning here, just your standard puffy cotton ball cloud. Detached, see all the space around each one of these things. Nice and flat on the bottom because that's the altitude at which water starts condensing out of the atmosphere, and then it builds going up. Because remember that partial, once the water starts condensing out of it, that partial continues to rise because of the heat given off by water going from vapor back to actual liquid water. Then you have cumulonimbus, which is your typical, your standard thundercloud. Having dense form, mountainous tower, they can go up to You know, around here, 40 to 45,000 feet. Out west, you can get higher than that, and then down in the tropics, they can hit 60,000 feet. And usually, it's they got this anvil thing. Is because when you get up that high, you run into some of the high level winds that knock the top off the cloud and give it that quote anvil effect, that flat top. And cumulonimbus clouds are also produce hail and tornadoes. So cumulonimbus clouds are your storm clouds. Stratocumulus. Well, when cumulus clouds accumulate to the point where they start running into each other and touching, besides minor little breaks here and there, and almost form a layer, stratocumulus. So just it's when that wanders into that, and then eventually becomes that. Stratus, a generally gray cloud layer with uniform base, which may, if thick enough, produce drizzle, ice prisms, or snow grains. So remember, stratus clouds are lower than nimbostratus or altostratus. We're talking just plain old stratus clouds. They are in the lower level, 0 to 6,500 feet level. So, and as I said, I copied and pasted this from the National Weather Service, the weather.gov website, U.S. National Weather Service. It's got all kinds of information about weather. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, I mean, guarantee you almost always find it somewhere on this website. This is run by the government. It's meant for us to use, especially as teachers. So please have a thorough look through these. Do you need to be able to look at a cloud in a picture and go, oh yeah, that's exactly this cloud? I'm not going to say the basic ones. The cirrus cloud, yeah. If I showed you a picture of that, oh yeah, that's cirrus. If I showed you the picture of cumulus cloud, you go, oh yeah, you need to know that's cumulus. If I showed you a thunderhead, cumulonimbus, you need to be able to nail that. Knock that one down. And then stratus. Yeah, stratus is different because it's that one and that one. Really, I mean, how different are they? Again, they're different because of where they form. Nimbostratus forms up high and gets pushed down as it rains. Stratus is, forms down low to start with. So that's the only two differences, but effectively they look the same. It's just the gray cloud bottom sits on a layer. So, when I say a layer, I'm talking, oops. I stopped sharing. I don't like to stop sharing. I like to share. Oh, there's my dog. She's very unhappy. Come on, go away. I want to get back to here. So when I say they're on, layer, on top of a layer of clouds. All right, here we go. So we look at that. I mean, here's the airplane flying. I mean, it's funny. That's actually a totally made up picture. When you see the absolute layer of clouds, and that's just flat, and you just kind of pop out the top of it, and oh, where's a good picture? Man, I just thought about this. It's like, oh yeah, it'd be kind of cool to see, because there we go. So as you're looking out the little airplane here, and this is a Cessna prop plane. So this isn't a very high layer. So this is definitely a layer of stratus clouds. And you look out over there, I mean, you can see, I mean, it's just practically flat on top, and that's why they call it a layer. So it's basically flat on the bottom at the, and then it's flat on the top. And that's just, that's a layer of clouds that's that stratus layer. So even a small airplane, it's can only climb to maybe 8 or 9, 10,000 feet, can get above this layer and fly where it's the sun's still shining. Because again, above this layer of clouds, the sun is still shining. It looks just like that picture right there. So those are your types of clouds. Like I said, you need to be able to name the basic ones: the cirrus, the stratus, the cumulus, and the cumulonimbus. Those are the 4 main types. And, if you see a picture of it, you go, oh yeah, that's blank. The rest of the combination types, I'm not going to be too concerned about you memorizing, but you do need to be able to know those are the 4 basic So hope you have a great day today. I hope you have a fantastic day tomorrow, whenever you happen to be, watching this one. And remember to like the video. Remember to comment in the comment section on the video that you were here and attended class today. And also remember to subscribe to the channel so that as soon as something gets posted, you go, hey, I can go look over there real quick before it ever even makes it to Google Classroom. All right, have a great day. We'll talk to you guys later.